Recently did a video where I talked about the fact that I sold 50% of my luxury collection, and I kind of talked about what I learned along the way, but I didn't talk about what I learned in terms of selling my items. I more so talked about how it made me feel and why I decided to do it and all that good stuff. If you're interested in that video, I will leave it linked down below. But today I wanted to talk more about selling and the process and kind of what I learned. So I broke it down into 5 points. You guys know I love my 5 points. Also, I would really appreciate it if you guys would leave me a comment down below, give my video a thumbs up. I feel like my videos have not been being seen by people. So that would really help me out and I would appreciate it so much. And I just kind of want to see if it would make a difference anyways. So yeah, if you leave me a comment down below, I'd be very grateful. So anyways, hopefully you guys can find this video helpful. Hopefully you take something away from it. If you have anything to add, leave it down below. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first point, which is that making a decision to sell something isn't always easy. A lot of the times, I'm speaking for myself, I ask myself, like, do I really want to sell it? What if I regret it? So like making the initial decision to sell something, especially if it's something like a handbag or a more expensive item, it can be a little challenging because you feel like you don't want to make the wrong choice. But what I've learned is that really there isn't a wrong choice. You can just ask yourself a few things to kind of make sure. Something that I like to do is look at the item that I'm thinking about selling and really ask myself, like, when is the last time that I wore it? And if that doesn't do the trick, then one thing I like to do is for maybe 7 days, I put on an outfit every day. Like, I make an effort to dress up and then I see if that particular item goes well with the outfit that I'm wearing each day. If I can wear it with, let's say, 4 out of 7 items, then maybe I should keep it. But if I pick something else over that particular item, then again, for me, that's a sign that I should sell it. So sometimes it can be a little challenging, but just doing these little things and asking yourself these important questions can definitely help. Moving on to number 2, where to sell to, right? So that is another thing that can be difficult. And if you're first starting out selling items, rather it's because you want to downsize or because you want to make room for something new or because you want to collect the money to buy something else, it can definitely be very challenging to figure out where to sell your item to, like who to sell with. And I have fortunately been very lucky to have you guys and my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, shameless plug, head on over there and follow me. I feel like I'm a lot more real there and I just share outfit photos and things like that. But I would love to have you over there. But anyways, I've been very lucky to have those platforms to sell my items. So almost everything that I've sold, with the exception of a few things, I have sold through my YouTube or through Instagram. But if you don't have that option, then it can be quite challenging to figure out what company to sell with. Because unfortunately, a lot of resellers, especially big companies, don't offer a lot for your item because they want to make money. So they turn around and sell it for much more. So there's things like Fashion File, which I feel like can be hit or miss. I've used Fashion File in the past, but I felt that their quotes have always kind of been all over the place. And recently I've heard that it's been really bad. If you guys have any experience, leave it down below. Like, let us know what your experience was. But I've gotten really good quotes from them and I've also gotten really bad ones. So that's a little challenging. I think one thing I would recommend is to maybe try to go with a small boutique that's privately owned that you trust. Obviously do your research, but it's always easier to deal with like a one-man show than like a whole big corporate company. You might get a better offer from a small company and they might be able to work with you. And I just like the ability to talk like one-on-one versus going through like a big company and it's really just like an email that you get and there's nobody that you can really talk to, if that makes sense. So that would be my recommendation. I've had some bad experiences selling, which I'm going to talk about next. So let's move on to point number 3, like something that I've really learned is that scammers are real, and there are so many scammers out there. It is honestly scary. I've had great situations where I have sold $5,000, $6,000 bags, and I literally just did like a Zelle transaction, ship the items super easy. But then I've used things like PayPal, and if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll leave it linked down below, but I got scammed through PayPal, which was horrible. Till this day, I refuse to use PayPal. And I know that a lot of people have had good experiences with PayPal, but let me just tell you from my experience, if you were ever to get in a situation where, God forbid, like you would be scammed or something happened with like on the buyer side, it seems that from my research and my experience, PayPal seems to side with the buyer, which in some cases is good, you know, if you are the buyer. But if somebody wants to scam you and you're the seller, with PayPal, you run into problems. There's nobody to contact. Like, it was awful. Anyways, I'll leave that video linked down below. I've also had a bad experience selling through Poshmark. And so, I just really learned that you have to be careful even if you sell through platforms that have a good reputation or through platforms that are deemed safe, you can still get scammed. So definitely do your research and be very, very careful. Unfortunately, you know, that really sucks. Moving on to number 4, something that I've taken away from my years of selling luxury items is that sometimes you regret it, and it's okay. You can always buy the item again, or you can buy something different that will, you know, make you a lot happier or that you'll use even more. But sometimes I have sold something that I then later regretted. But it's okay. Like, it's part of the experience. Don't beat yourself up about it. You know, it's not the end of the world. So I would definitely, you know, not shy away from selling something because you're worried that that you're gonna regret it. Just, it happens. It's, you know, it happens. And then last but not least, there's always another bag. So by that I mean that, like, selling bags, it's like sometimes you look at your collection and you're like, oh, I don't want to get rid of stuff. Like, I have such a big and nice collection, but, or maybe you're like, oh, I really love this bag, but I never use it. Yada, yada, yada. There's always another bag that you'll love even more and that you'll actually use. And that was something that took me a while to learn, because I would hold on to bags that were so outdated or that I really didn't love anymore. And what would happen, I would just sit on these bags and then buy new bags but not love these bags, when in reality I should have just sold them and taken that money to get something else. I would have saved myself a lot of money, and yeah, it would have been much better for my handbag collection. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Again, leave me a comment, give my video a thumbs up. Love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.